I told my daughter that I'm not visiting her in the hospital. I don't care if it's Christmas, but now I think I regret it. My 39 female daughter, 16 female, has had a sensitive stomach ever since she was a kid.
Hot girl tummy issue.
There are certain foods that will upset her stomach to the point where she's unable to stop throwing up. We've seen countless doctors, but so far nobody's been able to give us a clear answer. The only advice we keep getting is to identify the trigger foods and cut them out of her diet. We have a pretty good idea of what the foods are: soda, chips, Cheetos, similar processed snacks, and anything oily or fried.
Those are my main food groups.
Delish. Now, unfortunately, this is exactly the kind of stuff that my daughter loves to eat the most. And as horrible as my daughter feels after she eats them, she still refuses to cut them out of her diet, which in turn leads to her spending a ton of time in the hospital for the past several years.
Yeah, you gotta cut it out, man.
Cut it out.
Cut that shit out, dog.
Now, when she was little, it was easier to keep the foods away from her because I simply wouldn't buy them. But now that she's older, I can't always be there to check what she eats.
I mean, yeah.
School cafeteria, I mean, she's probably trading carrots for...
Oh, yeah. She's going entrepreneurial right here.
Ooh, goodness gracious.
You know, she's going from one garbanzo bean up to like a Hershey's bar.
Yeah, exactly. A box of Mr. Beast bars. Yeah. She eats the greasy pizza at her school's cafeteria. She trades her lunch with her roommates. She goes out with her friends and she stops to eat at KFC and on and on.
Yo, this lady has the worst diet ever.
This is terrible. And it always ends with her in the ER.
The ER.
Crying and shaking because she can't stop throwing up.
Yo, stop eating the drumsticks, girl.
I'm at a loss because it's like, it's one thing if it's like, if your parents are like, oh, don't do something because, you know, you might get hurt, but they kind of get away with it, you know? This is like, you feel the repercussions.
Yeah, there's immediate consequences to you stuffing your face with this.
Imagine their health insurance bill.
Dude, insane.
They have to have great health insurance.
I hope so.
Otherwise they're done. Oh my gosh. Now, this was the case on Christmas Eve as well.
No.
Not ruining Christmas.
Dude, she's eating all Santa's cookies.
It's literally. So on Christmas, we had our whole family gathered at our place. And of course, among the many dishes at our Christmas table, there were some of her main trigger foods. I mean, that is slightly on UOP, to be honest. Like, tell the family we can't have the food because she'll get in the ER. Done.
Yeah.
Removed. Easy.
But like,
easy.
It sounds like it's a lot of different foods.
The trigger foods at the table were things like chips, soda, chocolates, and sweets. You can cut that out.
Yeah,
you can cut that out. Now, mind you, these were far from the only foods available to her. We also had a variety of home-cooked traditional dishes on the table and ingredients that don't upset her stomach, like vegetables, meat, dairy, etc. That's all you need.
How old is she?
She's 16.
I feel like it's old enough to start taking responsibility.
You gotta stop. That's way too much. All of the meals were delicious and well seasoned. My daughter herself says that she really likes most of these dishes. But Sam.
What?
Despite this, my daughter chooses to eat nothing but her trigger foods.
Nothing?
With a feast of healthy food.
Does she not realize she's instantly going into the ER?
Dude, it's so bad.
Like, it's hard to feel bad for someone who is just like self-sabotaging so frequently.
Like, if she was 5, okay, like I would more so understand, but I'm sorry, she's 16.
Well, what if it's like eating disorder related?
That is more lenient, but it makes no sense because why would you keep doing it if you keep throwing up and going to the ER? That's insane. So I reminded her that the foods would make her feel awful, but she said she didn't care for a good reason because Christmas is only once a year and she just wants to live a little. She just wants to live a little, Sam. It's Christmas.
Yo, with your eating habits, you will live none.
Honestly,
you will live no little. You will be dead. You will be dead a little, in the ground a little, dying a little.
As you might have guessed, this ended up with her violently yuking all over the place in the ER a few hours later.
Who could have predicted that?
Oh,
big surprise!
She had to be hospitalized for a few days, and only just got out of the hospital a few hours before I wrote this. And unlike all of the previous times when something like this happened, this time I chose to spend my Christmas relaxing at home with the rest of our family and not in the hospital by my daughter's side.
Okay, the context makes sense now.
The context makes sense now, right?
I don't feel bad for the 16-year-old at all.
Yeah, not at all. I kept in touch with her through calls and texts and told her that if she needed anything, I would ask a family member to bring it to her, but I made it clear that I would not be visiting her during her stay. And my daughter didn't take it too well. She's not happy, Sam.
Your actions have consequences, dog.
No. Actions never have consequences.
You're right.
She cried every time we talked on the phone and begged me to come over and told me how horrible I was for, quote, abandoning her there all alone and so on.
I mean, like,
bro,
I hate to say you deserve it, but like, you gotta learn.
You brought this on yourself.
I think what the issue is, like, the 16-year-old is just like too comfortable with this pattern of habit. Landing in the ER is not uncomfortable enough for her to stop. If something is truly uncomfortable for you, like truly, like if you don't want it to happen, we are programmed as humans to make it not happen.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Especially self-inflicted. I think this might tip the scale and hopefully develop a better habit.
But what about Dr. Pepper and Twinkies?
You're right. You're right. Those are pretty sexy looking.
Come on, I mean, worth it. Hashtag
delicious.
Now this part is crazy. Most of our family didn't take my side in this either. And during the past few days, I got called everything from a little extreme to downright cruel and heartless.
They haven't been dealing with this thing though for like years and years.
Not at all. And maybe they don't like understand the full.
Yeah, they don't understand. They don't understand. We're getting the full scoop.
So, am I the a-hole? What's the verdict?
I say no, dude. This girl needs to learn that her actions have consequences and mom's not going to always be there to coddle her in the ER.
Honestly, I think the daughter is definitely the a-hole because it's inconsiderate to herself and her mom.
Yeah, to say like, oh, I'm going to ruin Christmas because I want a Twinkie. Like, come on.
What are we doing here?
Fucking grow up, dude. Grow up.
If you thought that was a crazy Christmas story, check out this one where Karen assaults OP to steal their gifts.